Hi everyone! I'm going to do a video today on parade last week on Sunday, my sister and I with our horses. I'm gonna put some clips of the parade and some pictures, and I'm also going to tell you a story on how we got Aminah and Adaya, because a lot of people ask me this, and I'll tell you a little bit about like their bloodlines and all of that. It's actually quite interesting, so let me just get into that. I apologize for any noise that gets picked up during this video. It is super windy outside, and my dad's mowing the lawn. He's gotta do it right now, but whatever. So Aminah and Adaya are full sisters, and it was 2013. I was working at Jiffy Lube, and I was getting my tax return, and I was just starting to get sick. I got sick in like 2012, but I wasn't like super bad at this point. I was still able to, go to work every day and school. I did struggle still, but anyways, I was just starting to get like really sick around 2014, where I am right now, and I was trying to be more positive, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get myself a nice horse. I really want a Frisian, or a Frisian cross, whatever. It's like they're really expensive, and I don't have that kind of money, and like no one has that kind of money. I had been riding a horse, and he was a Frisian cross, so he was half Frisian, and I completely fell in love with that breed. I already liked that breed anyways, but I fell in love with him even more, and I kind of grew out of my Arab that I have. He was too easy for me. I wanted more. I was like saying to my mom, I really want a Frisian cross. She's like, those are expensive. They're at least like 10 grand or more. Sometimes you can find them for 5, 8 grand, depending how much training and their bloodlines and whatever. So I'm like, I just don't have the money, but I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna put an ad on Craigslist, and usually there's like scams on Craigslist, and this is like unrealistic. I am so surprised that I even got a horse for this price. I'm like, 2 grand, that's what I'm getting back in my tax return. 2 grand is all I have. I want a Frisian cross. It's very unrealistic price, like super unrealistic price. I put it on Craigslist. My mom didn't want me to put it on Craigslist. She was like, yeah, you won't get it, blah, blah, blah. And so before I put it on Craigslist, I was jumping around with my dog, Mina, and I'm holding their paws, and we're jumping in circles, and I'm saying, I want a Frisian Aminah. I want a Frisian Aminah. And, so then I ended up putting that on Craigslist, and a little while, probably like a day or two later, this girl contacts me, and she says, I have 2 Frisian crosses. They're full sisters. They're 3/4 Frisians. I'm in law school, like I don't have time for them. If you're interested, we'll talk and whatever. So she's sending me pictures. Black horses are really nice, but I feel like they don't stand out enough, especially when all of them are black. So she sent me this like red looking one. You'll see what she looks like in the pictures, with the black mane and tail. As you can see, I love red animals. Both my dogs are red. I have a couple horses that are red. I think the red with the black is just like amazing. So she sends me that, and she sends me another horse, and I'm like, oh, I really like this one. What's her name? And she's like, her name is Aminah. And I'm like, oh my god. I like went running to my mom. I'm like, Mom, this is it. I have to get this horse. This horse was made for me. And she's like, oh, this is probably a scam, whatever. So me being me and cautious, I dropped the pictures into Google. I reverse searched them. They came up on a girl with the same name. So I'm like, okay, yep, this is her, this is her. We ended up going to check them out. They were in New York, like 2 hours away. I fell in love. Like, my sister and I went into the pasture, because now both of them were for sale at this point. So my sister and I go into the pasture. Aminah comes to me, Adaya comes to Montana. That's how we had it planned out anyways, of who was gonna get which horse. They're a year apart also. So we went to the pasture, they picked us, and we're like, wow, this is like really good. The girl told me, if you can get Aminah to canter and I know that you're a good home, then you can, buy her for $2,000. And I'm like, holy crap, okay. So I get on her, and of course, I get her to canter. She threw a few bucks, because that's just how Aminah is. But, so I got her to canter, and she just wasn't ready to sell Adaya yet. They were both supposed to have a lot of training into them, and they didn't really have anything into them. So Adaya wasn't trained, like, at all. She was really scared and almost buddy sour, because they had been with each other from when Adaya was born, so they were like super attached, whatever. She wasn't ready to sell Adaya yet. I'm like, okay, well, I'm taking Aminah, and I ended up taking Aminah home. About a year later, she contacts us, and she's like, I'm ready to sell Adaya too. And which is great, because Montana wasn't ready at that point either to have Adaya yet, because Montana's younger, and Adaya is younger than Aminah. I ended up going to pick up Adaya, and when they first saw each other again, they knew exactly who they were. Like, when we brought her back to the farm, she knew exactly who she was, stuff like that. We had to keep them, like, separated, because they were super clingy, because there was an incident where I was breaking Adaya to be ridden, and Aminah trotted off farther away, and Adaya went, like, bucking bronco, and I went flying through the air, and that's like a whole nother story. And so we were like, we got to keep them away from each other, because it's dangerous, like, to have them if they leave each other. As time went on, I was really sick. Aminah was my motivation. I would ride her here and there. She doesn't have that much mileage under her, and I did a couple shows here and there, and she was, good. And I just kept saying, like, these horses are so beautiful and so, like, phenomenal and breathtaking, and they have so much potential. We really need to get them out showing at the big shows, not to mention the bloodlines of these two horses. They're war horses. One of them is Ashwin de Plume, and there's a couple, I haven't looked at their bloodlines in a while, but they're war horses. They got really, really good bloodlines. So I'm like, holy crap. God was definitely on my side, and this was meant to be. Montana and I, since I had my feeding tube this year, Montana and I worked them, this summer as much as I physically could. And she started her out in February and only had, 60 or 90 days into her before we brought her Adaya to her first show. I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So that's when the Deerfield horse show came. I have that video on my channel as well. If you've already watched it, you know just how well we did, and I wasn't expecting. I know that they're both beautiful, and they have a lot of potential. We don't have enough money to bring them as far as they could probably go. We were supposed to go to Worlds this year in Ohio, and I have no doubt that we could have been world champion, my sister and I, with our horses, but just for the fact that it would cost like so much money by the time we shipped them there. We got a place safe for me to stay in, because I have certain standards of living that I have to have in order to be healthier and not as sick. By the time all of that took place, it was just too much money, which really sucked, because they definitely have it in them. We have one more show. We decided to do Oktoberfest, which is in like next week. instead of going to Ohio because it's at the Big E and that's local for us, we decided to do that instead. That's like the Saddlebred show. They don't really have many part-bred classes, so we're gonna go into the open classes instead. And we're just really doing this, like, we don't care about winning, my sister and I. We just want, like, yeah, they have a lot of potential, like I've said, and this and that, and they could be winners, but my sister and I just love showing and love what we do and love our horses and love competing against each other. It's just fun that way. It probably wouldn't be as fun if we weren't in the same class, so we kind of have like a competition with each other of like who's gonna beat who. We don't really, you know, care about the rest of the people in that class. It just makes it that much more enjoyable because we're not wanting to win. We're not looking to place. We're just looking to get our horses out there. We're looking to have fun, just do all of that. And we don't have, you know, big trainers. It's just my sister and I with our horses. So which is kind of cool also that we can do this. Hopefully next year they'll have worlds like closer to us, or within the next couple of years, then we can do that. But now that I've told the story, I'm probably missing a few details. I might put like clips in later if I remember stuff about it. Obviously, like, my memory isn't that great. I had another video up, but I took it down because I feel like it was just too negative, even though it was real raw what's going on with me. But so I took that down. I'm just hoping that I will feel good enough to do the show. I hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, one more thing, this is Danny. I will probably do a video about her. She's the newest addition, and Mina is right down here next to me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below if you have any other videos that you would like me to do.